Hello, it's Catherine from the English department. The two words that I'm assigned to are stentorian and mausoleum. Let's talk about stentorian first because I feel like it's easier to understand and it is more useful, stentorian, it is an adjective. The definition of stentorian is extremely loud. As you're wondering, of course, there's a story behind these kind of, freaky words. The story behind it is from the Greek mythology. There is a guy whose name is Stentor. Stentor is the herald in the Greek army. If you don't know what a herald means, it means a person who delivers message back in the ancient times since they cannot text. And so back to Stentor. Stentor does the herald job. He is very famous for having a voice that was so loud and clear. As the legends say, Stentor's voice is as loud as trumpets. And in fact, in a book, it's described that Stentor is a man whose voice was as clear as that of 50 men together. He sounds like 50 men all together, so basically he's a whole choir. That is very loud. So Stentor's powerful voice made him a natural choice for delivering all the announcements. So his name, Stentor, is to describe a person who is very loud. That is the noun form, Stentor. And the word that I'm assigned to is stentorian. Stentorian, if it's I-A-N in the end, it is the adjective to describe something is extremely loud. For example, how to use the word stentorian. So you can be like, oh my goodness, my neighbor has a stentorian voice that every freaking time he has a conflict with his wife when they're arguing, I feel like the whole house is shaking and my windows is probably going to burst anytime because that man's got a stentorian voice. That's how you use it. Example 1. Example 2, you can also say that Jason is very afraid to tell the school nurse that how he got injured because that stentorian nurse is going to scream at his face and freak the soul out of his body. That's example number 2. And then we can jump to mausoleum. Okay, so mausoleum is a noun. The accent is at liam. Liam, mausoleum. Took me a while to figure it out how to pronounce it correctly. Anyways, so mausoleum is more of an unuseful word, in my opinion. It is a noun for a large tomb, especially stone building with places of actually, I don't get it. So a tomb made of stones that it has not only the casket, but there's a huge thing on top of the ground. There's a building for honoring blah 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 blah, and it looks like a little house, that kind of. And definition number 2, mausoleum is also used to describe a large gloomy building or a gloomy room. There's an example sentence from a book, I assume. So she's like, a girl, she invited him out of the mausoleum of parlor into the kitchen. Like that. And speaking of the story, it's actually much boringer. It's Mausolus is a king from a kingdom in the Asia Minor in the 4th century BC, as what the documents say. Yeah, I googled it. The Asian blah blah blah, it's basically Turkey. Now it's Turkey. Yeah. And it says that he beautified the capital Halicarnassus, and it has all sorts of very fine, fantastic public buildings. He's probably has an architect's soul, something like that. And he is best known for his magnificent monument, the mausoleum. Sorry, it's very hard to pronounce that word. Mausoleum, right? And the mausoleum is built by his wife to honor his death. Because he is such a famous king for liking his city beautiful, and he also died with a beautiful tomb. So hence his name, Mausolus, then turns to a noun to describe a certain kind of tomb, a large kind of stone tomb. It's called mausoleum. Mausoleum. Here's an example of how you can use the word mausoleum. Okay, very fancy mausoleum. You can say that, oh my gosh, I hate this apartment so much, because it's like every time I enter the room, it's like a haunted movie scene filming The Conjuring, right? It's like a mausoleum, a very gloomy room. It's making me so uncomfortable. And that is pretty much it, I guess. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you get to use these two freaky words in a correct way, and people would assume that, you know a lot of background knowledge about Western stuff like that. That'd be cool. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.